Have you ever noticed something strange? You still feel young. You still laugh at the same jokes. You still sing along to the songs you loved years ago. Inside, you don't really feel that different. But then, someone sends you a message. We're all going out tonight. You coming? You look at it for a second. You smile. And then, somehow, without even thinking, your first thought is, I'd rather stay home. Not because you're angry, not because you're tired, not because you don't like your friends. You just don't feel like going. And somehow, putting on comfortable clothes, taking off your shoes, and enjoying a quiet evening sounds better than the loudest party in town. So what happened? When did noise become exhausting and silence become comforting? Maybe you've asked yourself that before. Maybe you've wondered, am I getting old? Or did something else change?
Most people think they've become boring, that somewhere along the way they lost the adventurous version of themselves. But think about it. When you were younger, life was about discovering who you were. You wanted new experiences, new places, new friends, new stories. You weren't chasing noise. You were chasing possibility. Every invitation felt like another chance to build a life, another memory, another version of yourself. And that's exactly what those years were meant for. To explore, to experiment, to collect moments you'll remember forever. Life wasn't asking you to slow down. It was asking you to discover.
Then, without announcing itself, life changes. Not all at once, but little by little. Your calendar becomes fuller. Your responsibilities become heavier. People begin depending on you. Decisions become more complicated. And one day, you realize something your younger self never thought about. Your energy isn't endless. You can replace almost anything. Money, clothes, phones, even opportunities. But today's energy, once it's spent, it's gone forever. That's when your priorities quietly begin to shift. Years ago, your biggest fear was missing out. Today, your biggest fear is spending your time on things that don't really matter. And that's a completely different life. So you begin saying no. Not because you've stopped loving people, but because you've started protecting your peace. You realize that being surrounded by people doesn't always mean feeling connected. Sometimes, one honest conversation with one person fills your heart more than an entire room. The same thing happens with weekends. The same thing happens with music. The same thing happens with happiness. You slowly stop asking, what sounds exciting? And start asking, what feels meaningful? That's a question your younger self probably never asked. But once you do, it's impossible to ignore.
People often say, you've changed. Maybe they're right. But maybe they misunderstand what changed. You didn't stop loving adventure. You simply stopped chasing it everywhere. You didn't stop enjoying people. You simply became more careful about who receives your time. You didn't stop dreaming. You simply learned that not every dream has to be loud. Maybe growing older doesn't make life smaller. Maybe it makes life clearer. The things that once impressed you no longer do. The things you once overlooked become priceless. A quiet dinner, a peaceful morning, a phone call from family, a walk with someone you love. Nothing extraordinary. Yet, somehow, everything.
So what changed? Maybe nothing strange happened at all. Maybe you didn't become boring. Maybe you didn't lose the younger version of yourself. You still feel young, because a part of you always will. The laughter is still there. The curiosity is still there. The dreams are still there. The only thing that changed is that now you finally know what deserves your time. You don't love excitement less. You simply value peace more. Maybe growing up was never about becoming someone new. Maybe it was about finally coming home to yourself. You know, the strange thing wasn't that you started choosing quiet evenings. The strange thing was believing that happiness had to be loud in the first place.